Every building here at the Research Park has something different going on inside, and one of them is home to something very special. And we used it to bring back a taste from the past. And that building is just over there. Where I am right now is very special. What is stored in this vat of liquid nitrogen is incredibly precious to so many people. It's a natural substance that was first discovered thousands of years ago, and it's a vital ingredient for the brewing industry: yeast. This is the National Collection of Yeast Cultures in Norwich. More than a quarter of all yeast species ever discovered, that's over 500, are kept here. They're living organisms, and every one will produce a different taste when used to brew beer.
This is one of our brewing strains that we've got on a plate, which, as you can see, doesn't look too exciting, but on the microscope...
This is it magnified.
This is it magnified. So this is, in size, they're fractions of a millimetre in size, but this is the same yeast under the microscope. It can be used to brew beer.
Why do you need a library of yeast?
Well, we started out as a brewing collection in 1948, and this was when brewers recognised the value of the organisms they were using. Since then, we've acquired yeast from all around the world. It's a sort of insurance policy.
So if anything happens to their yeast,
yes, absolutely,
you've got the backup here.
Yes,
the blueprint copy is
here.
here.
We had one a few years ago when there was the floods in Northumberland, and we had the brewery on the phone to say the brewery's flooded, we've lost our production strain, can we have some of our yeast back? And we were able, with Chris's help, within 2 to 3 days to get the yeast grown back up and sent to them so they could start brewing once the brewery was dried out.
Which big companies?
I'm afraid that's top secret.
You can't tell me?
No, that's part of the insurance policy. They can store them here knowing that we will keep that totally confidential.
Well, far from the laboratory of the National Yeast Collection is a tiny business that has a need for a special yeast.
Well, you can see by the size of it that it's a microbrewery. Ales, Gas and Lager is actually an anagram of the business that used to be here, Allen's Garages. And it's run by an ex-museum curator here in Cromer who has a love, a fascination with brewing beer. And he's a regular customer at the Yeast Collection.
And inside, a beer lover's utopia. It's run by Martin Warren.
I'm too small to compete head-to-head with the regional brewers, so I don't brew beer that you would buy in pubs. I'm looking to have adventures with beer. I'm really just a grown-up home brewer who's now got a full-scale brewery, well, 2 barrels. But it means that I can make the beers that other brewers dare not do or cannot do.
Martin's next adventure with beer will involve bringing a real taste of the past to life. He's off to the yeast store in Norwich to get some yeast that hasn't been brewed with for nearly 60 years.
So, Martin, this is your final product.
Thank you very much.
If you'd like to...
Can I smell it?
Have a smell, see what you think.
That must be the smell of beer from the 1950s.
Absolutely.
It's fruity.
So it already smells of beer?
It's delicious.
It already smells of beer, is it?
Yeah.
So this is a yeast that's not been commercially used to brew for between 50 and 60 years.
That's amazing. But it does actually smell of beer already. That's what.
Well, it is fermenting.
That's what I'm surprised about.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be great to brew with this.
You can do that. You think you can do it?
I think so.
You have every confidence.
With your
you can
help.
turn that.
With your help.
Oh, no, you're the expert.
We certainly look forward to the final product.
Next stop is for the barley malt. Back to the Norfolk coast. This farm is home to Teddy Morth and his barley, which is very much in demand.
What makes malt in this part of the country so special?
Well, literally in North Norfolk we've got this wonderful combination, unique combination of the soil type, which is sandy loam over chalk, combining with the maritime climate that is very special along this coast, and they just make it the perfect spot on the planet to grow the very finest malting barley.
Here we are looking at a fabulous field full of your barley malt, and it's hypnotic actually watching it. But this is a 50-year-old malt, I believe.
This field has been growing Maris Otter in the rotation for 50 years, and this is Maris Otter's 50th birthday. It has got a lovely biscuity, malty taste, and it is also, I'm told, really a lovely malt to work with in the brewery. Shall we go and get the malt?
Yeah, I hope you've crushed some.
You've seen the field. Yeah. OK, Martin, here's your crushed fine malt.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the day has arrived. Martin is going to be brewing at his brewery here in Cromer, and he's going to be showing me how all the ingredients come together. Oh, and he's also decided to put the beer in a very special beer festival in a few months' time. So no pressure.
This is a mash tun. We are mashing, which is the process of extracting sugar out of the malt. We use this specialised tool here.
A lump of wood. Basically, the process you're doing here has happened for thousands of years.
Yes, it has. Yes, it certainly has. In fact, looking back through the records, this is West Street, and there were about half a dozen brewers lived in West Street in the 1840s, according to the census. Yeah. And my house, which is just a few yards that way, is on the site of a maltings.
Really?
An 18th century maltings.
Do you feel this was destined for you, Martin, by any chance?
All kinds of things have happened like that, yes, yes. Things are coming together. Eight. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. I hate being trusted with things like this, in case I get it wrong. As if this beer tastes awful, it might be down to me. It was fine until that Whiteley got involved.
As my wife says, if you put good ingredients in, how can it go wrong?
Well, yeah.
You get David Whiteley in.
It's 3 months down the line, and Martin is hoping his taste of the past beer will get a good reaction. The tasting is being held at a beer festival in Norwich. It is, gentlemen, time to drink the first ever batch of Hawkey Frolic.
That's very nice.
Malty enough for you?
It is malty enough.
That is delicious.
It's favourite.
Really lovely. Yeah.
Very malty. Is this a beer of the 1950s and 60s?
Well, I don't know. I was a bit too young then. I was more thinking of a beer of the 19th century, actually. When the Hawkey Frolic, the party at the end of the harvest home, was actually the celebration of a year's work.
It's a lovely flavour. It's very strong beer. And I can imagine that would be the sort of thing that after the end of a harvest that you would, you know, to celebrate the end.
Murky as it might have looked in the 19th century.
A class act from a classy barley.